Ross Hodge is swinging for the fences as he's got one of the best players in high school basketball coming to visit the Mountaineers.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, guys? My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia. Appreciate you guys for joining in on another episode of the show today as we dive into some more coverage of the Mountaineers. On the basketball side, we've got some bye-week thoughts for you as well and a couple other things. So thank you for being here. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by FanDuel right now. And look, when it comes to FanDuel, it's pretty simple. New customers can bet $5. Your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets used across the app. So make sure you download the app today to get started. And thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. You guys are awesome, man. You guys are awesome. I wasn't expecting the video with Provo to do as well as it did. We're closing in on 20,000 views on that video. So that video did really well. I know that it wasn't just people from Provo that watched that video. I know there were people from West Virginia that watched it because I got comments. I wanted just to thank you guys up front for that because it means a lot. I worked really hard on it. I was really nervous about releasing that. So anyways, just wanted to let you know that. I appreciate y'all. So let's dive into the coverage here as Miles Sadler, a five-star guard. I did a segment on this last night, but it was buried in the show, and I wasn't going to clip out the segment and put it up, and then I thought, well, I need something to record about today, so we'll just go ahead and redo that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. All right. This would be an absolute game changer, I guess is the best way to put it, right? For West Virginia basketball. And there aren't too many things that could be a true game changer, but a player of this caliber doesn't come around to our program every day. I mean, if you're the Kansas, the Auburn of the world, if you're, those type of teams, yeah, they come around every year. For us, they don't. We live in that 3 to 4 star range. We get plenty of 4-star guys. I mean, we do. Here, I mean, we've gotten 3 or 4 just the last 2 years. I mean, if you count Amani Hansberry, obviously Tucker DeVries is a 4-star transfer. That doesn't really count. The kid that transferred him from Xavier last year, now the Jaden Portside from this year. So in Amir Jenkins, Alio Doom, like all these guys are within that range, 3 to 4 stars. So it's not impossible for us to get good players. It's just that we typically develop players in those ranges, but to get an already developed 5-star player, which is usually why they're 5 stars, it means they're ready to go right out of the box. Then sometimes they have issues, but for the most part, let's talk about it. All right. So I think the best way to describe Miles Sadler is he's 5'10", probably around 5'11" if you look across other sources, 165 to 170. So he's a typical Ross Hodge guard. He did it last year. He had a dynamic scoring guard that was 5'10" last year. He's done it other years. He's got one this year in Honor Huff. So he likes these kind of players that are pesky, getting passing lanes, but on offense, they're just absolutely scoring guards that can crush it from 3, that kind of thing. He got elite speed and agility. He's got one of the most explosive first steps I've seen in a while. He can dunk, but he's not a high flyer. He's not going to bang his head off the rim, but I mean, he can get up there and dunk it pretty easily. His change of pace and body control are elite. He's really a nightmare when it comes to transition, half-court sets, those kinds of things. And coming off the pick is, it's like the most used thing in basketball these days. But coming off the pick, whether you're rolling or popping, he's so good at that. He's really got great judge of which guy to go to and the kind of touch needed. There's a lot that goes into coming off the pick right? Sometimes you're going to need to slingshot it in there. Sometimes you just need to float it up there, right? Sometimes it's got to be in between. It's like a quarterback. Can you layer in balls? Can you like we saw Bear Bachmeyer do on the inside post to Roberts the other night? I mean, he slingshot it. That was a slingshot ball, but it had just enough touch on it as well, so he could just catch that thing and go. So and just like we saw Khalil, everything was a fastball, right, for the most part. So you learn layering, and so same with a point guard. You've got to be able to do that, right? The biggest knock you can find on this guy is his size, for sure. That's it. He's on the shorter side for a league guard, but I think it's actually more impressive that he's made it to 5-star status at 5'11". If he was 6'4", 6'5", you'd be talking about it in NBA first round, possibly lottery pick, right? So, and who knows, maybe he still grows some. So let's go ahead and look at the numbers here as far as where is he ranked. On the 247 Sports Composite, he's number 32 overall, the number 6 point guard in the country with a 99.01 rating. He's the 37 overall guard on ESPN, number 8 overall. On 3 industry rankings, got him top 4 in that top 40. Other notable things are he is the top 5 Canadian prospect and the number 1 player in the state of Arizona, which is a very big basketball state. If you look at his stock over on a chart, his stock's risen really sharp, since that Peach Jam, right? Well, so because his sophomore year, if you look back to his sophomore year, I've studied a lot of his stuff over the last 12 hours. Dream City Christian over in Glendale, Arizona, which is a good program. He averaged double figures there, by the way, and then on from there went to the Peach Jam, where he was dropping 20 points a game in a Peach Jam that was loaded with talent. So he's built on pure basketball skill and basketball IQ. He's a combo guard who can run the show. He can score at all 3 levels, which he can play off the ball. He can play on the ball, whatever you need him to do. You need him to be a point guard. You need him to be a shooting guard, whatever you need him to do. Here are his strengths. He's an elite shooter, one of the best shooters coming out of high school this year. He's got elite catch and shoot mechanics, and he's got NBA range. He can pull up from 30 feet. He's got an extraordinarily quick release, which we're going to show you, and extremely soft touch. He hits 40+% from 3. That's really hard to do no matter what level you're at. And during the IBL and Peach Jams, he did just that. Extremely deadly off screens because he can pull, he can hit the pick, he can hit the pop, he can cross you over, he can hit the hezzy, he can go mid-range, he can do it all literally. And then you go to scoring versatility. He attacks the rim fearlessly, really, when you look at it. I mean, he takes contact, crafty finishes at the rim, up and unders, spin cycles, everything you could possibly do is he can do it, man. I mean, he's literally got all that going on. If you look at his game in transition, he uses hesitation. Sometimes he uses a Euro step. Sometimes he'll use a floater. Sometimes he'll get in the post. Sometimes he'll cross somebody over. Sometimes he goes up and under. Sometimes it's behind the back. Sometimes it's behind the head on one play. Like he does a lot. And it's very, very flashy at times. Bob Huggins wouldn't like some of it, because he likes it to he's not quite like in the 60s where they were like, we don't like dunking. But I mean, you remember old Hugs, man. He was like, man, just make the play. So that's his scoring versatility, though. Playmaking is a little bit different. He's got a high IQ, so he's got excellent vision. He threads the needle in pick and pops, pick and rolls. He finds cutters. He's got very low turnover rate, and he's generally a very high usage guard. Somebody that you can really count on to make plays in all situations. And I'm a big fan, obviously. And look, here's another thing. His handles are freaking good, man. Lightning quick first step. He's shifty on the ball handling. He beats defenders off the bounce. He really thrives in transition. And he likes to push the pace. I think he's similar to like a mini John Morant is a good way to put it, right? On defense, he's got a good motor. He's a very relentless competitor. pesky on the ball, and he really likes to use his speed to disrupt passing lanes, which is why he's got between 1 and 2 steals a game. He also rebounds well for his size. Areas of growth are obviously his size. He needs to get bigger. He's only 5'10". So yeah, he can get bumped off his spot. Yeah, he can get bounced around by bigger wings at times. 10 or 15 pounds should solve that, I think, for the most part. I mean, sure, he's got some issues, and I mean, like, the size is really the biggest one. Off the ball, sometimes he's a little stationary. I think he just gets caught watching a little bit when he's not handling it. He'll get better at that. It's just for the simple fact that the ball's been in his hands his whole life. So whenever you ask a kid to come off the ball that's used to having the ball, it just takes time to get used to moving without it. Tough shots under pressure can be something like, he needs to be more consistent under pressure. I think I've watched a few games where he probably could have made a better play. He playing a little hero ball, that kind of thing. I mean, these are really, really tough criticisms. Like, I'm really stretching to make these criticisms. So I just wanted to have something on there that wasn't all fluff for you guys. I think his projection is easily a high major starter. He's got probably second round NBA draft potential somewhere in there. I think he compares to a Tyus Jones type player. He's an elite floor general. He's going to elevate the offense. Scouts love the player. He may not look the part, but he's a top 20 player, right, in the country. So he's got a coach's mentality on the floor as well. And the fact that Ross Hodge is coming after him should let you know quite a bit about him, considering the kind of players Ross Hodge likes, which are hard-nosed, tough, Joe Toussaint type players. But this is a very high-level one. So, he's got 20 offers from Blue Bloods, mid-majors, name it. He's got Syracuse, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arizona State, DePaul, West Virginia, USC, Indiana. I mean, he's literally got everybody. He's been to visits at Oklahoma. He's been to UC Santa Barbara, Arizona State. He's coming to West Virginia in October. So this kid is taking the gamut of visits. And the big thing we have in common with him is he's the teammate of Alio Doom. West Virginia's just got Alio not even a month ago. So, this is I think a real possibility. They're supposed to be really close. And I think, this could be one of the bigger pickups in the history of our program if we can get him, right? Right there with Oscar Shibwe, a guy like that. Devin Williams, what he turned out to be, people like that were a little bit higher rated when we got him. So, or maybe like a Devin Ebanks, somebody like that had just really, really, really big recruiting numbers beside him. So, okay, let's do the hard-edged meter. It stretches the basketball too, or maybe we should call it the hard-nosed meter for Ross Hodge. I think that works better. The hard-nosed meter for basketball. We'll probably go try to do that from now on. So here's my eval of him, okay? So shooting is 10 for 10. I don't give those out often, but if you go watch his stuff, he's 40+% from three, no matter pretty much what all he's done. He's got NBA range on pull-ups, stop-up, spot-ups. I mean, everything you could possibly want. He's like a miniature Honor Huff, honestly. Or not a miniature. He's of the same size. As a playmaker, 9.5 out of 10. He's got elite vision and transition. He averaged 4 assists per game at the under-17 Worlds, pinpoint passes. And so, he's really good there. Scoring versatility is also 9.5. He's a multi-level threat with crafty drives. He's got crafty floaters. Like I said, he had 30 points versus Egypt. If you look at the under-17 Worlds, where he was 9 for 15 with 7 assists, couple steals. I mean, he really hunts shots at times. He's that good. On defense, he's an 8 out of 10. I mean, he plays strong defense with more muscle. He'll be even better. And you're talking about a kid that averages 2.7 steals per game. So he's a pesky handler, but at the same time, his 5'11" frame can be made vulnerable. So you have to dock a couple points there. Athleticism / physical tools are also 9.5 out of 10. He's got that explosive first step and body control, which elevate for his size. And it gives him the functional strength, that's pretty evident in the tape you watch, and boosts his rebounding. So it's an overall composite score of 46.5 out of 50. It's not perfect, but 46.5 is, I think that's perfect for a 5-star player. There's room to grow. He's already, if you can go read about it yourself. Most places have him in that first to second round range, right? Like most have him second round range in NBA projection. So, I mean, that's as good as it gets in college, right? If a guy's good enough to go second round in the NBA, then they're thinking of an impact like, there are so many guys that you could probably who's a good person to probably Miles McBride. I think that's a great one because, we didn't expect him to have the kind of career he had at West Virginia. But, early on, it was evident Miles McBride was really good, right? I think he could have that kind of impact early. So, even though Miles was only a 3-star player coming out, it was pretty obvious right away that he was, which is why he went after his sophomore year, which sucks. But because I would have loved Miles to, Miles was just 1 year away from, or was it the other way around? Javon Carter left. If he'd have stayed for his senior year, he and Miles McBride would have played together. So I always think about that. That's frustrating to me. But it is what it is, You have to understand these things happen. All right, guys, let's go to break here. We'll come back and we'll talk about Miles a little bit more, show a little bit of tape of him. We'll be right back on Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at Peloton. And look, Peloton's a pretty cool place, man. If you haven't ever used one, it's shaping the future of fitness with brand new Peloton cross training. Peloton's IQ is their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move. Whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors, this is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan to stay motivated and reach peak performance. I love how the Peloton IQ system offers real-time strength coaching. It actually tracks your reps, suggests the right weights, and corrects your form, making every rep safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward with the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. All right, guys, I appreciate you so much for being here. This is segment 2, of course, and in segment 2, we always crack open an ice cold dew. Of course we do. Let's jump into some Miles Sadler tape really quick. Just going to show you a quick thing or two. Then we'll get into some football talk. Okay, so here's a little bit over a minute of tape from him. You'll get an idea of what it's like about to see him, and I'll break down a little bit of it. He's played. Nice up and under. There he is with the left. Obviously, he can you see him taking contact through the lane. Very quick first step. Nice. He finishes with his left hand on the right side, but there's where he's really great. Is this 3-point shot he has is incredible. So if you look at the form on this, so right away you see nice footwork, nice spacing between the legs. His toes are pointed off. You see it different ways. I'm definitely not saying it's wrong, but watch him, on the shot, his elbow sticks out just the tiniest little bit, but it's not major. And it doesn't always have to be perfect. It doesn't always have to be a perfect L shape. How's it look coming off his hand? Beautiful. As you can see here, plenty of room. You want to be able to stick your fingers up underneath there, and there'll be room all the way up until you start to meet this part of the hand. And that's how you want it. And then you want it to roll off the fingertips, right? I mean, that's the way they teach it. And as you can see here, the two fingers are what's launching that ball. And you can tell, you know how you can tell? The spin of the ball, right? If this ball doesn't spin, if it looks like a knuckleball, that's how you can tell somebody's not doing it correctly. Or if the ball's spinning in this way, then you'll know it's coming off maybe the end of the fingers. So here he is in the open floor, as you can see, really quick. Nice play underneath. He's pretty cool under pressure. Here's another shot that I want to evaluate from the side, because I think it was in transition, which is what makes him dangerous. In transition, he's such a good stop and pop kind of player. So as you can see here, you see how quickly he's able to get into his shot. This is what makes him so dangerous. Let's count how quickly it takes him to shoot the ball once he gets it. 1/1000. Maybe a second. I mean, I don't even know if it's a second, you know? So it's literally a second or less, which is just really quick. So he's got the ball in his hands there. He stops and he's popping. It's muscle memory, man, you know? And it's quick. And he's not huge, you know? Obviously, the bigger you are, the longer your release is going to take. But you have more height on it, so it doesn't matter as much. He's not tall, so he's got to have a quick release, and it's 1/1000. I mean, it's not even a full second. Beautiful no-look pass. As you can see there on the no-look, I mean, that's just incredible. As you can see, and here's where we talk about that first step, right? Here, look at that first step again. Look at the amount of space he gets on this first step. This kid's a full step behind, right, on his hip. He's got a free drive to the lane. He can get into him with his shoulder if he wants to, create contact. But he's fully in front of him, right? There's nothing this guy can do. So he's got no obstruction. He can, does this guy come down and help? Does he kick it out for three? If not, does this guy come to help? And it just makes it's such an issue when you have a guard that can get off on his first step, kind of like Kobe was able to. And that's what makes these guys elite facilitators, because whenever you can, just like a receiver, if I can get off in the first step, that means that somebody's got to help because I'm winning. It's pretty simple. It's just basic math. And that's why you see him, he had to come over and a great pass. I mean, let's just see it one more time. Just a great no-look pass. Beautifully done. And that'll be fun to watch. And here he is on the handoff. This is what's fun about him, because he's got such a quick release. You can do so many things with him on offense. I mean, that's just a quick release. It's smooth like butter. And I like that he likes to dribble it with his left hand. But that jump shot is so smooth. As you can see here, you got to see that first step yet again. Here's the first step again. Watch him blow by number 12. I mean, it's so good. It's so smooth too. It doesn't look like it's just so smooth. So good. And then he hesitates and gets that guy. Nice alley-oop. Another three from way deep, and it's just a perfect swish. I mean, it's truly gorgeous to watch these threes come out of his hands. And he gets some height on it, too. It's not like he's not getting any. It's a great-looking shot, man. And look at the follow-through on that. Perfect, right? The list is very relaxed. So, yeah, I really like this kid as far as that stuff. There's that first step again. So gorgeous, man. Either side he can do it, left or right. Number 12 got absolutely abused in this game. I mean, he's seeking other help. He was totally abused. It's just frustrating when you can play a guy like this. Guys ever tell you this story? I'll tell you a quick story about me. So let me make sure my timeline is right on this. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so whenever I was a senior in high school, OJ Mayo, if you remember OJ Mayo, he played in Huntington for Huntington High School from Huntington, West Virginia. Um, was in 8th grade, but he was already he was already a phenom. He was already a 5-star player whenever he was in 8th grade. He played at Rose Hill Academy in Kentucky. So I live in a tri-state area. I can be in Huntington, I can be in Kentucky, I can be in Ohio, all in 5 minutes, right? Well, 10 minutes. So I go to the YMCA to play basketball, and obviously I know who OJ Mayo is, although I don't know him by face, I know him by name. And we go into the YMCA, and there's this young kid absolutely cooking everybody in there. It's not even close. And I choose to guard him because it was like, who do you got? Who do you got kind of thing. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to pick the small kid, right? At the time, he was probably about my height, maybe 6 feet, but he was skinnier, right? So I was thinking, okay, I'm going to guard this kid. So, anyways, maybe within the first 5 minutes, I knew, like I'm nowhere close to this person's level. I mean, it was obvious he was a good bit younger than me too, and dunking on me, like those kind of things. So embarrassing. But I remember like finding out later it was OJ Mayo, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is OJ Mayo. He's in magazines, like he was all the talk in my area. It's like having a LeBron James in your area. Like everybody knows about it, right? And he was like, obviously he went to USC. He was the number one player in the country. We wanted him at West Virginia so bad, because he would have been a great fit with Hugs. And he ended up, I mean, he averaged 20 points a game in the NBA for years. But he had a great career NBA. I mean, did he live up to the first to whatever you want to say? Like, did he live up to his name? I guess not really. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's hard to live up to being the best player in the country, right? So, anyways, that was a crazy time in my life for sure. I've got some thoughts on the football team as well. So we're going to mix that in the third segment. My bye week thoughts, along with Khalil, Scotty, and of course, JR. We'll be right back. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends over at Square College. Look, Square College is one of those places that if you don't know about it, you need to know about it. It's really cool. Over, I think, what they say, 4 million people rely on Square. And there are certain businesses that make the neighborhood, right? These are the places that become an extension of home, whether it's a sports bar, which is dedicated to your team's fan base, or if it's at the spot with the best wings in town for game day, or that beloved local chain that's been rooted in your community for years. These businesses are what bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives after all. So look, obviously there are a bunch of places in the state that you could support. I always say Kegler's in Morgantown because that's where the Rich Rod Show is. That's where we all know we should be supporting. And then there are other places too, but I'm not naturally from Morgantown. So I, obviously don't know every hit spot to go to. So I say Kegler's because I think it makes the most sense based on, the history of Morgantown and everything. So if you guys know better in the comments, let me know. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did with Square. See you in the neighborhood. And of course, our friends at FanDuel say hi, and there's a reason for that. $5. That's all it takes to get in on the action. FanDuel. It's pretty simple stuff. And the NFL season is here. FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss with that. It's right now, new customers can bet just $5. You'll get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. You pick a bet, put down $5. You'll hit unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. makes watching football even more exciting. You got a little something to riding on the action. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. All right, we are back here at Locked On West Virginia. Thank you so much for being here, guys. You guys know it's been a heck of a couple weeks for the Mountaineer football team, and I've been thinking about some bye week stuff. So let me just vent for a second, but I need a drink first. I don't know if it's allergies or what, but my throat's itching. Okay, so obviously this has been a roller coaster year so far in 2025, and we're staring down a bye week. We've only got 2 wins on the year. We're 0-3 in Big 12 play. Obviously, the 38-24 loss to BYU Friday night in Provo was tough. We saw signs of improvement, and it wasn't a blowout like Utah, but it was still really bad, right? And I think it highlighted some nagging issues that have plagued this team from the jump, right? An offensive line that's more Swiss cheese than than a stone wall, if you will. It's a defense that's pretty much feast or famine. Obviously it's just rough to watch. Obviously we had a freshman quarterback made us look really bad and torched us through the air. And we just don't have the consistent firepower to hang with anyone who brings it, right? And at 2-4, the dream of the top half of the Big 12 finish it's a distant memory, right? It's not going to happen. So it is college football, and stranger things have happened. I mean, I'll give you that, but I don't think this is going to be one of those things. And so let's just do some real talk on the team, right? Is there a silver lining here? The offense actually did show a pulse against BYU, absolutely, right? Nico is probably gone, so we're down to basically Khalil Wilkins, Scotty Fox, Jalen Henderson, and Max Brown. We've got 4 guys, and we've seen 3 of these guys pretty extensively. And I really think it's time, if you want to start thinking for next year, I think at some point in the next 2 or 3 weeks, you have to make a decision on a quarterback for multiple games, no matter how it looks, and just decide I'm going to grow with him, unless you're just going to blow it up and try again next year at that position. I do think there is upside with Scotty. I do think there's upside with Khalil. But I also think you could go out and buy somebody that's better than both of them if you really wanted to, that doesn't have to grow with you. I'm not saying that has to happen, by the way. I'm saying it's one of the options. It's just an option. Not saying we got to do it. So, we need to build some momentum, right? The biggest problem, obviously, is the O-line keeps getting bullied up front. Short yardage situations went sideways in multiple plays against BYU. The pass defense was bad. Obviously, Bachmeier, he carved us up. So did Utah's quarterback, Devin Dampier. And he's not an elite passer. He's good in the system that they run, but he's not some elite passer. They build a really nice playbook around him, which is what I wanted to see us do. So obviously this next couple weeks is going to be rest and repair. This week's been a meat grinder with the short prep for BYU. And I think our team just needs to lick its wounds for a while and get fresh and miss football, not playing for a week. You got a chance to get right over the next couple of weeks. UCF looked good, yes. But remember, the worst decision you can make is to base what your team is going to do off what another team does when they play somebody. It just doesn't work in football. I mean, we saw it, right? Penn State almost beat Oregon. And UCLA, who got absolutely blitzed by Oregon, beat Penn State. None of it makes sense. right? So, just my thoughts on that. Obviously Oregon destroyed UCLA 34-13. So I don't, what I'm saying is you can't base off what teams do. It's just matchups are just totally different in a lot of cases. Maybe this team has a really good defensive line, and that's why they hung with that team. Or maybe this team has fast linebackers, and that's why they hung with that team. Or this team has a really good wide receiver that was just able to get open all day. They couldn't guard the one player, kind of like us a couple times over the last few years. But anyways, so I don't do that because UCF looked really good. Saturday they did. Let's look up what they did exactly. So they lost to Kansas. I thought they won the game. I swear I did. I guess I must have turned it off too late. Holy cow. Or am I looking at the wrong thing here? What am I looking at? Oh, there it is. Okay. So yeah, UCF lost 27-20 to Kansas, but it was a close game. Obviously, Kansas destroyed us. Does that mean that we can't hang with UCF? I don't think so. Kansas State absolutely nuked them 34-20. Right? So it's not, and then they destroyed North Carolina, who's just really bad. So, I don't know. And then UCF plays Cincinnati, and then they play us. So, Cincinnati's turning out to be maybe a top half of the Big 12 kind of team. So could UCF be on a hangover coming to play us? It's going to be at UCF, but we're going to have 2 weeks to prepare. It's unfortunate, man. We just didn't get any favors on our schedule this year. None. No favors. If you look at it, coming out of the bye, Kansas gets a home game. Coming out of the bye, we go on the road. Coming out of the bye, we play Kansas after the backyard brawl while they're at home. Backed off of that, we play BYU on a short week. Back off of that, we go on a bye week, but then we go back on the road again. Like, it really does feel like we're hated for some reason. It's probably because what happened to Neil Brown, because we were bad for so long. They're not going to put us in any good games or give us any opportunities because they don't believe in us anymore as a program. I bet that has something to do with it. Maybe I'm crazy. So let's get this thing wrapped up here. But so basically, here are 4 bullet points I have for us. The quarterback carousel, is it going to be Wilkins? Is it going to be Scotty Fox? Is it going to be Jalen Henderson? Because we've rotated through signal callers all season, right? So neither body has screamed franchise guy. Can Rich Rod settle on a quarterback at some point this year? This is a question we need to know. I'm really thinking, guys, and I know this is crazy. I just somehow keep coming back to Scotty Fox as the one that I choose to build around. I don't know how everybody else feels because Khalil played his butt off for us. Really gutsy performance. But the only reason that happened is because we had an extra guy to block with because we ran with the quarterback. That was really it. He didn't blow you away throwing the ball although Cam dropped a wide open pass, which you can't. I'm not going to be mad at Cam. He's caught everything coming his way this year. One drop from him I'm not even going to hardly mention it. So I'm just going to forgive him for that because he's been great. In the trenches, can the O-line gel before it's too late? I don't think it can. I don't think the guys that are on the team, I would prefer just to go young from here, but I don't think they're going to do that. People thought they improved against BYU because we moved the ball. I don't think that's the case. I just think we had a quarterback that can run it in, and he did what he could based off of, his abilities, and rarely did they open a hole. That's for sure. Obviously defense has shown flashes, but the pass game has been horrible the last few weeks. So, can we fix the defense? Because it's been good at times this year. Where did the pass rush go? Where's Jamori Robinson been? Can we the next 2 weeks get him acclimated and get him in the game plan somehow? Because that's going to be a big question going forward. And obviously, are we going to go 4-8 or can we go 7-5? Like, most people had us not making the bowl game. Those people look right now. Can you somehow win on the road at UCF? You're going to have to, because if you don't win that game, I can guarantee you, you don't make a bowl game. So that's just my opinion. Now, stranger things have happened, but I would just say you got to win at UCF, and then you can lose to TCU maybe, but I think you got to beat them too, even though they're really good, and then you got to somehow pull off the upset against Houston and Colorado before you lose to probably Arizona State and Texas Tech. But all the rest of the games are winnable if you play well enough, except for Texas Tech. I don't think that one's winnable at this point. All right, guys, I appreciate you for joining in. And as always, big day for West Virginia basketball. Hoping to see Mr. Sadler come in and love it here, and hopefully find West Virginia home. That would be a big time for us. And we'll see what football does. We'll see what they do. All right, guys, thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team every single day, the Mountaineers. Before we get out of here, make sure you check out Fire TV College Football Kickoff, because it's a big time for us all, where if you didn't know, it's your ultimate college football preview. As Drake told, Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. It's a college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch college football kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. And I'll see you guys later. I'm out of here. Q Country Roads.